Hi, my name is Zoe Anderson, Marketing and Business Director of Law Business World. Again, if you haven't met me before. This afternoon I'm just going to be talking to you a little bit about some marketing techniques you can use that are very up-to-date and definitely marketing tools that have been used, especially in the last 5 years or so, that might be a little bit different than what you're used to. Maybe not. Maybe this is just review. Let's move ahead. I just want to continue upon what my colleague, Mr. Buchholz, was saying after public relations. One of the ways that a lot of businesses are starting to, or have been, keeping in touch with their clients is through email marketing campaigns. The great thing about a lot of these companies, as you can see, I listed just a few here: Constant Contact and Blue Hornet. These are sites where, not only can you send out email marketing campaigns, but you can also house a lot of your clients' contact information. In these sites, you can, in fact, you can divide and group clients based on particular interests. Even if they're not clients, let's say they're other kinds of business partners or other lawyers that you speak to on a regular basis. Even friends and family. It could be educators. It could be interns, former employees, what have you. The point is, with Constant Contact and Blue Hornet, you can take all of your clients and everyone else's contact information, house it in one location, which is housed in the cloud. You access it by password, and you can really kind of just organize their information based on very specific criteria. And the other great thing about Constant Contact and also Blue Hornet is that you can create documents that embed into emails that will make your emails look very professional. Just like a lot of the email marketing newsletters that you might get, you can do the same thing with Constant Contact and Blue Hornet. So, in other words, you can take your company logo and you can literally just embed it right into the actual email, so that when people open up the email from you, it'll look just like your website or just like your letterhead and the rest of it. So it's a really great way to send emails and to also organize your client's information. Now, you're not going to want to use Constant Contact or Blue Hornet for everything. It is a great way to, say, for example, you just published a piece that might be of interest to a specific category of your clients. You can access that category of your clients, say those ones who are interested in business, immigration, or those clients that are primarily interested in copyright terminations, perhaps. You can access that category of groups. You can point to the article that you just wrote, which is housed on your website, put a link right in that email with your company letterhead on the top, and then maybe a picture of yourself speaking at an event. At any rate, what it does is it presents you in a very professional manner. It organizes the information of your clients in a way that makes it easier to communicate. And another great thing about it, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, is that your Constant Contact or Blue Hornet, which is basically the same thing, different kind of company, or different company, that is, you can create tabs on your Facebook account so that when you start to generate an audience, either through LinkedIn or Facebook, you can have a contact tab in which people will put their address information, and that will update itself in your Constant Contact without you doing anything. So it's just great. And then, of course, just like sending a physical card, of course, I always think that thank you cards and holiday cards are best sent in physical form. It's always great just to send a letter of thank you, or anything you can think of that you think might be useful in helping your clients remember who you are, and thanking them for their patronage in the past, it's just a great tool. Now, some of you who've been practicing the law for a long time might not be familiar with the site Avvo and some of the other kind of attorney ranking websites. What these are, unfortunately, is they're sites, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, these sites are sites where individuals who might be looking for an attorney in a specific area will go to, and they'll type in a name, and they will, maybe they'll be able to find you, maybe not. If they do find you, you might have a rating next to your name. It could say whether or not you've had any sanctions or disciplinary actions, or it could be somewhere where you've had a lot of positive feedback from your clients. Now, depending on what kind of law you practice, this may or may not be useful. If, for example, you're doing a lot of DUI law or traffic tickets, these are the kind of services that an individual might not have a family lawyer or someone that they work with all the time, because it's something that might not come up all the time. So Avvo might be useful for you because your name might come up as a DUI attorney in San Diego. The individual in need of your services won't know whether or not you're the person to go to. If you've had a few clients that have benefited from your services, you might ask them to post something on Avvo for you. And someone looking for you will see that you've actually had some good reviews. So what we mean by quality control is to make sure that you are keeping track of your online reputation. If you're not sure whether or not you have a profile on Avvo, look your name up and try to find out. Because the last thing you want is for your name to be out there on the internet with a bad reputation associated with it. So, moving on, social media has an interesting place in the legal realm. Many businesses these days are finding that it's not just useful, but necessary to have social media pages as a part of their marketing mix. Again, it depends on what kind of law you practice. If you are dealing with mostly elderly people, you're probably not going to want to have a social media page for your law firm. You want to make sure that you take into account the kind of clientele you have and whether or not they will actually be using Facebook. I can tell you, I'm 30 years old, or about to be 30 years old. My mother is in her mid-60s, and she uses Facebook on a daily basis, as well as many of her friends. So, again, it just depends on what kind of law you practice, but if you think you could benefit from having a few social media pages, then this will be important to you, most likely. So the first thing you want to do is, and this is relevant particularly for Facebook, but we'll also talk about LinkedIn in a little bit. Facebook is really wonderful. You can create a business page. If you already have a Facebook account, this is no problem. This should not be difficult for you at all. If you don't have a Facebook account, just go to www.facebook.com, and you'll see at the bottom of the page there'll be a little area that says create a business page. So you can do that. Once you create your business page, you're going to want to promote it with your friends and family. If you've already got Facebook, this will be easy because you can just invite your former friends, or your personal friends, to like your business page, and usually there aren't any ethical considerations or violations with that because you've had a prior relationship with these people. So, invite your friends to come and like your page or just to check it out and maybe give you some feedback on what they think about it. And what that does is it just creates a nice little buzz. Their friends will see that they like your business page. If you decide to run an ad campaign later on, which I can also tell you about, that that content will post up on the sidebar of other people's business page. So there's really, it's a great way to just kind of get a buzz going and just like anything else, expand your network and your potential referral base. And also just to it might be a way for you to post the news that's relevant to your clientele, things that matter to you and to your demographic. So that being said, the next thing you want to talk about with your business Facebook page, the last thing you want to do is post personal information, which isn't to say that it can't be slightly personal, but keep it business. For the most part, keep it business. The content should be relevant. If you are, again, if you're dealing with, let's say, immigration law, and there's a great article that came out that you didn't write, or maybe you did write, you can post that on your Facebook page, and it's very easy. The bottom line is make sure that the content that you post is relevant to your demographic, to the type of law firm that you have, and the type of law that you practice. The other thing that you can do, and we'll talk about the website in a little bit as well, when you have a website, if you are posting news or events, that when you go to your website, you can go to the URL or the website page where this content is posted, cut and paste, and then go back to your Facebook page and then paste that URL into the Facebook page, and it will upload as a link to your website. So now that you have this audience coming to your business page, they see the post that you just posted, and they'll click on it, and that will bring them to your website. What this does is help move your website up in the ranks. The more people that are visiting your website, the more likely it is that your website will be viewed on the first or second page on Google when people are searching for your particular kind of services. So it's very important to always be driving traffic to your website, as that will increase your rating in Google search and other search engines as well. So again, the goal is to bring people to your website and eventually get in contact with you. Now this is very important. Monitor posts. Because as attorneys we have a duty to maintain strict ethical standards, it's very important that you make sure to monitor the traffic that's going on your Facebook page. If people are posting even great news about the services that you provided and how great you are, what you did for them, the success that they had with you, it's important that you respond to that, first of all, thank them for their, for their blast, but also to create a disclaimer of some kind that the results aren't guaranteed for the future. You just want to make sure that you are always abiding by ethical rules and that you don't really overstep your bounds there. Again, just as you want to make sure that you're monitoring posts, when you see someone that has posted something on your website, engage with them. If they ask you a question, respond. Don't just like a comment. Respond to the comment. Say thank you for coming to the page. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Anything that you can do to make your audience feel like they're, feeling like they're communicating with you is very important, because that's the reason why you have the Facebook page to begin with. And then, of course, abide by ethical rules at all times, and my colleague will talk a little bit more about that after this segment, but of course, you do want to make sure that you are keeping track of your state's ethical rules and any formal opinions or disciplinary actions that have occurred, especially with regard to social media. Going back to relevant content, of course, you don't want to post repetitious content. A lot of people make the mistake of they have a LinkedIn page, they have a Facebook page, and they have a Twitter page. And I've heard people recommend that you link all these up and they can all post the same thing. Now that's great sometimes. If you're posting every single day and you have the same group of people on your LinkedIn account as your Facebook account, Not so sure that you want to link all those up accounts to post the same thing over and over again. It doesn't make sense. It's not worthwhile. You know, and if you don't need a Twitter account, which I really don't think that a lot of lawyers do, then don't have one. If you're working in entertainment law and you have a ton of contacts and they're all on Twitter, then you might want to consider having one. But if you're in family law, the last thing you want to be doing is posting 160-character posts on Twitter. So try not to repeat the content through all your sources. If you're going to have a Twitter account, keep it simple. You know, if you're going to have a LinkedIn account, keep it professional. And with your Facebook account, use that more as an opportunity to really interact and engage with your clients. Now, if you feel like you would like to bring more people to your Facebook account because you're really posting something of interest every single day, you might want to consider a Facebook advertisement. Now, these are very easy to do. It seems like they're complicated. They're not. Especially now that Facebook has gone public, they've really taken a lot of steps to make this easy and also very efficient. So when you go onto Facebook, you'll see that there's, especially since you now have a business page, you'll see that there are plenty of links to show you how to post a Facebook advertisement. It's quick, it's easy. Try it out. There are a lot of tips that will make it easier for you, and it's really not as hard as you think. Just a couple of tips with your Facebook page that I'd like to impart before moving on to LinkedIn. If you are going to do posts, studies have shown that most people come to Facebook in the morning. So you want to make your posts before 10 a.m. usually. Even earlier might be better. Between 9 and 10 a.m. or before 8 a.m. It's better to do it in the morning. You'll come up on the feed before other people. If it's in the middle of the day, you're likely to get lost and people aren't really going to see what you posted. So morning is the best time, usually. Same thing now with LinkedIn. Tuesdays and Thursdays, for some reason, seem to be the days that people tend to go to LinkedIn or Facebook more often. So you can definitely look that up and see what days are going to be most effective. So if you're only posting one day a week, you want to make sure that you're doing it at the most advantageous time so that your posts don't just get lost in nothing. And then again, finally, at the very bottom, sign up for, you can create a sign-up tab on your Facebook page for newsletter updates, and you can do that through Constant Contact or Blue Hornet. I highly recommend both of those in any business, and I use them for several of mine. They really help. Moving on, LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn, get it. You should already have it. As an attorney in law school, as a student looking for jobs, you're just going to want LinkedIn. It's really, as it says, it's a no-brainer. It's the very first thing you should do, even if you don't have a website. Especially if you don't have a website, you want to be on LinkedIn. Now, you also want to make sure that you actually use it. Having a LinkedIn account and not doing anything with it isn't going to help you out at all. You want to have a real account. Put your resume up there. Put a good picture up there. Get some connections. Get some recommendations. Make sure to use that LinkedIn account the way it's meant to be used, to show you in your best light possible. You can also create a business page if you don't already have a personal page, or you can just decide you want to do just a personal page. A business page is great because you can link your personal LinkedIn page to the business page, and it just gives you more of a web presence. You can also link those LinkedIn pages back to your website. You can also link those back to your Facebook page. So what it does is it creates a network of your business and your web presence that will just make you more findable on the web, and it will also make you look, it'll also kind of enhance your reputation and make you look more professional. A lot of people are on LinkedIn. If you don't have it, get it. Another great thing about LinkedIn is that it can be free advertising, especially if you have a personal page, which you should. You can join groups. Groups on LinkedIn are excellent. We'll tell you about one group called the Solo Practitioner Forum. I'm on that as well. It's a great forum. You can link up with other solo attorneys and engage in discussions. These are going to be attorneys from all over the country. You're going to get tips that you might not have ever thought of, and as well as just advice on how to, you know, do certain things. So it's a great way to expand a referral base. If these people happen to have a client who moves to California or another state or in an area of practice that they don't know, they might post on Solo Practitioners forum, and you might be able to find a client that way. Discussions and groups are very important, especially for building your referral base, your legitimacy, your reputation, and also can be a really great way for you to just gain some additional knowledge. And again, just to reiterate the point, you can have a great LinkedIn page with the really, you know, relevant information. If you have a bad picture, it's just going to make you look bad. You wouldn't go to court in sweatpants. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile picture is clean and crisp and clear, and that you're smiling. In many cases, could be someone's first image of you, and so of course you always want to make sure that it's a good one. Moving on to the fun stuff, a website. Some lawyers don't have a website. Some attorneys, law firms, they just don't have a website. For me, that's shocking because I do all of my searching for everything on the internet. In older generations, it maybe not have been such a big deal. You know, a lot of your clients can be, you know, referred to by word of mouth. Today, you're going to want a website, especially if you don't plan to have an office. So, that being said, a lot of new attorneys think that you need to shell out hundreds of dollars and tons of resources and time to build a website, and this isn't true either. If you can post to Facebook and you can create a LinkedIn account, you can build a website. In fact, you can do it for under $100, and it can look really very good. So, in order to do that, you're going to want to make sure that you can find a domain name that matches your law firm. Even if you have to play around a little bit with it, find a domain name that matches the name of your law firm. In fact, if you can get a domain name that matches exactly the name of your law firm, you're doing really well. Before you purchase the domain name, it would be easy for you just to go to WordPress.com. If you can go to WordPress.com, you can type in your domain name right there in the search engine when you get started, and it'll ask you if you want to use the WordPress.com ending or if you just want to have your website.com. If you can do that, do it. It's the best way to go. It'll make the creation of the website a lot easier for you. WordPress is fantastic. I know a lot of people use GoDaddy. I personally use WordPress. You can choose from thousands of templates. Very professional looking. You can add to them. You can also get help on them. It's just a fantastic website, and you can create very, very, very professional looking websites for very little amount of money. It takes a little bit of time. If you already have a domain name, don't worry. Create your website on WordPress, and then afterwards you can just transfer that WordPress site to your domain name and host, and just do it that way. It's just one extra step that you have to take, but don't worry, it's not as difficult as you think. So, again, pick your domain name, attorneyxyz.com. Otherwise, it'll put a WordPress.com at the end of it, and you don't really want that. But if that's what you have to do, it's just, as I said, one extra step, not a big deal. Okay, so once you're in WordPress and you've got your domain name, you're going to want to choose a package. It'll give you a few different options. You can upgrade, which you might want to choose because it just gives you more options for templates. You can also choose a hosting package, which is really nice because you can have everything in one place. So you can host your website, you can have the domain name, you can have your email accounts, and any other kind of additional help that you might need all in one place, and that's really great. You might think that you want a web designer. Unfortunately, a lot of these web designers, if you get a friend to help you out, you don't really know who's hosting. You might not be able to get in touch with them to help with anything if you have a problem. Doing it with a company like GoDaddy or WordPress is great because these companies have been around for several years. They do really well. WordPress isn't going anywhere for a long time, and they're very professional. You don't have to worry about not being able to get in touch with someone. If you've ever built a website in the past before, anyone else who's also built a website can tell you sometimes it is impossible to get in touch with the designers. And if you have a little bit of technical savvy and you can build it yourself, you're going to save yourself a lot of money and a lot of trouble, and it's really not as difficult as you think. So, when you're in the WordPress set, this is kind of a step-by-step process. You can choose your template. It'll give you thousands to choose from. You can narrow it down for professional websites, for clean-looking websites. If you want to have a banner on the front of your website that has flash and a gallery of images that goes through, you can do that. Or you could just choose something very simple. Once you do that, it's basically just point and click. You can upload photos, make sure that they're high resolution. You can upload photos right into your account, click on the Appearances tab, choose Customize. You can figure out whether you want your website to be center justified or left justified or right justified, just like you would on a document using Word, or anything like that. So it's really a lot easier than you think. Menus are when you look at a website and you see at the top where it says Services, About Us, News, Contact, those are your menus. You can have them, set out horizontally on the top or vertically on a sidebar. The point is, mess around with it and see what you can come up with. As I said, it's really not as difficult as you think. If you can spend a few hours every afternoon for a week just messing around with it, you'll be surprised at how quickly you can actually build this website. For most people, you could do it in 5 hours, you can do it in 10 hours, you can do it in 20 hours, but if you just pass the bar and you don't have a job, you've got the time, try it out. You'll save some money. Once you have the website, you can choose to do a Google AdWords campaign. You don't have to. A Google AdWords campaign is very similar to a Facebook ad campaign. The cost is about the same. You're looking at about $1 to acquire a click, or maybe even less. It could be 35 cents. The point is, it's not very expensive. What you want to do is be found. If you have a website, it doesn't really mean anything unless people find you. Of course, you can direct your current clientele to your website by putting the name on your business cards and whatnot. But if not, and you're doing something that will help you to be found using a paid search, go to Google AdWords. It's very simple. They really walk you through every step of the way. And of course, the website for that is right there at the top of the screen, adwords.google.com. Or you can just go to Google and search for Google AdWords, and of course, it'll take you right there. They have all kinds of tutorials for you, but to be simple, you just go to the left-hand bar of the page that you go to when you go to this website, create your first campaign, and then you're going to start to get into it and what you have to do. If you are, again, let's say you're doing sports immigration, you will want to come up with some keyword searches that you would use if you were your clientele to find your services. So if I'm an athlete and I'm looking to get a visa for the United States so that my sponsors can pay me and I can do the competitions here, what I'm going to want to do is search for athlete immigration attorney. That sounds like it would be about right to me, but I might do a couple other searches as well. The point is, write a couple keyword searches down that you would use to find your services, and then put those into the Google AdWords campaign, and that's how people are going to find you. It's just like SEO, which is search engine optimization, except that this is not organic. You're actually paying for it. It's a great way to bring people to your website. Now, that's pretty much all we have, all I have for you today in terms of your social media and website. But just the point that I really want to make with all of this is that you can really market your firm for very little money, and you can build a great-looking website for very little money, and you can really streamline all of that to make it look very professional and to keep a loop going so that you can have your clientele just constantly thinking about you. And as I said, building a website, it's not very difficult. If you have any questions on how to do that, you can always contact us at lawbusinessworld.com. And of course, we have our contact information right at the end here. And we're always available to meet and discuss. If you have any questions on how to build a website, we're happy to help.